Hello, it's Harry Reasoner again, speaking to you from the democratic, free, and enlightened province of Ontario, Canada. Now, a couple of days ago, I was coming home from work when I heard on the radio the story of Dalton McGuinty, our Premier, announcing plans to review the practice of starting each day of the Legislature with the chanting of the Lord's Prayer. My ears immediately perked up. I was excited to learn that perhaps this holdover from a superstitious time was finally going the way of the dinosaurs. But as the story unfolded, I became increasingly disappointed. And you see, Dalton doesn't believe that it's incorrect to be saying a prayer in a public forum. No, he thinks that the problem is that the Lord's Prayer is not inclusive enough. It does not represent the multiplicity of faiths present in Ontario. And he's right. There are a lot of faiths. Now, his proposed solution is, it's two-pronged. There are a couple of options. First, we could introduce a more inclusive prayer. I find that an absurd notion. After all, to unify a whole bunch of faiths into a single prayer, when those people have no interest in being unified, actually they're doing their best in many places in the world to exterminate each other. But I just want you to picture what such a prayer would look like. It would be something like, Our whoever, who art, wherever, hallowed be thy name or names, etc., etc. Well, the other possibility, Dalton suggests, is that maybe on some sort of rotating basis, one faith at a time could be honored in the House. You know, it's estimated that worldwide there are more than 30,000 different cults/sects of just the Christian faith. Now, and almost 2,000 of them are represented in Ontario. A very quick calculation, based on the fact that the legislature meets for 120 days a year, shows that such a rotation would take about 20 years just to work our way through the Christians. There's no way you could treat them all under the same umbrella. They are the first to point out their differences. And Christians are hardly the only religious group that is splintered and fractured. And there are dozens upon dozens of sects and splinter groups in the Islamic world, as well as amongst the Jews, the Shintos, the Sikhs, the Hindus, and the Buddhists. There's no end to it. Actually, the evolutionary tree of religions is far more convoluted than that of species. And the obscure origins of some of these sects and cults are probably even more difficult to elucidate. Carolus Linnaeus would have had a fit had he tried. Dalton, are you actually suggesting that through some sort of rotation, every once in a while we will hear a satanic chant, or some Wiccan doctrine, or some nonsense from the Scientologists? Could it be that every once in a while in the rotation we'll be hearing a reading of the manifestos of a white supremacist group? All of those guys are at their core rabid fundamentalist Christians. Or is it going to be set up based on some sort of proportional representation? There'll be a threshold established above which you do get some airtime, but below which you're deemed to be on the fringe. Well, if that's the case, I want you to look at this. This is a population pyramid of Ontario. And you'll notice that 13.4% of Ontarians are under the age of 10. I would suggest then that, to be fair, about one day in every 10, the legislature should be opened with a rousing rendition of Here Comes Santa Claus. Now, John Tory, the leader of the Conservatives, and therefore the leader of the official opposition party in Ontario, has entered into the debate. And rather predictably, He has said that he would entertain the possibility of introducing new prayers, but that the removal of the Lord's Prayer is entirely unacceptable. John Tory suggests that we need to honor the past and we need to adhere to tradition. It's only the religious who could be as idiotic to suggest that the past was in some way better than the present. It's only through the idiocy of religion that we don't look forward. But Dalton, if you are going to cooperate with John Tory and take any of his suggestions under consideration, I'd like to head it off. And this is what I would suggest. Based on honoring the past and honoring tradition. Perhaps every Monday could be deemed all white Monday. Blacks, well indeed all non-whites, would be allowed into the legislature, but only to clean or to help serve food. Tuesdays could be Guy Day. No women allowed except to perform the duties that the non-Caucasians performed on Monday. Wednesday? Let's see. That could be Humiliate Unwed Mother Day. We could gather on the front lawns of Queen's Park, and we don't have to actually behead them or kill them with stones, but I guess in a more modern way, as a compromise, we could just throw rotting food at them. Thursday could be Gay Bashing Day. We could go out and grab gays from their positions as doctors, lawyers, nurses, teachers, engineers, and all professions. Drag them, we again, in a nod towards modernism as a compromise. We won't actually burn them, but we'll stand there and hurl insults at them and self-righteously inform them that they're all going to die from AIDS because God has sent that as a judgment. I guess to be consistent and to be fair, because that's what this is about, we should also drag out children that are suffering from chickenpox and measles and polio, because by the same logic, I guess God must hate them too. And on Friday, well, there'll be no special ceremonies or rites or rituals. All the members of the House could just go outside and stare incredulously skyward with slack jaws and vacant eyes. That would probably be the most profound way to honor our past. Call me an atheist, God-hating, amoral, future resident of hell, if you wish. But this is what I think should happen, Dalton. Dispense with the opening ceremonies and get down to the business of correcting the problems in our society. Prayer has never fixed any problem. Prayer has, started a lot of riots and a lot of murderous zealotry and a lot of wasted time, but it's never actually fixed anything. Just get on with business, please.